Why, hello, awesome folks, and welcome back to the AfterShock Happy Hour and Live Sale. I'm your host and the Senior Retailer Relations Manager here at AfterShock Comics, RuthAnn Thompson. We have a really exciting show for you today, and we've just had a really exciting week with announcements and all that kind of stuff. Kaiju Score, it got announced about our next writers, which are the Gunn brothers, so that's very exciting. We sold out pretty much of everything Kaiju Score related, so this is very exciting, especially with James Patrick's next title, Campese the Dragon Incident, coming out, and we're just super stoked. So a lot to talk about, but I want to jump right in because we have an awesome guest today. We have the actor, writer, producer who has been in pretty much every seminal sci-fi, fantasy, film, TV show known to man. And you may know him best as Chief from Battlestar Galactica, the incredible Aaron Douglas. Hello, sir. How are you?
Living the dream. How about you?
You certainly are. Look at that with your gorgeous backyard and it's hot, and hopefully you have a drink for this happy hour.
Yes, I have one of my favorites from a local pub, local brewery,
Ooh.
City of Cove Hazy.
Cheers to that. I have an old fashioned here as voted by my all my followers on Instagram. So thank you guys for that. Thank you for being here. And yeah, it's just incredible all the work that you've done with so many things. And we did an interview with you for our announcement of your new title with us. And you mentioned that your first comic book, since you grew up as a fundamentalist Christian, so comics were basically forbidden for you and your brother, but you guys snuck in some Archie comics. But is it true that like you didn't really jump into the comic book scene until once you were in Battlestar Galactica and they brought you on for Comic Cons?
Yeah, I didn't realize that comic books are what they are until I was doing Battlestar and I went to several sci-fi conventions, right? And then there's the artist alley, and then there's all the comic book vendors, and I was just walking up and down the rows going, holy geez, these people are unbelievable. And then some of the people from the different comic book companies would come by my table and they'd just drop off a stack. You a comic book guy? Yes, I am. And they just drop off a stack, and I would just read voraciously and pour through these things and then take them to set and leave them all around the set. So made some comic book fans of the actors on Battlestar and a lot of the crew too. So everybody just, by the time a week had gone, they were all dog-eared and kind of beaten up. But yeah, thank you for everybody who's ever given me a book. It was read 1,000 times. All across our sets and in Vipers between takes, which was always quite funny.
I almost picture that there's some outtakes or something, just like with the Game of Thrones like coffee cup. There's like a comic book somewhere on Battlestar Galactica just hanging out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just lying down behind the scenes and stuff. You see the grips would light and then they just go back behind the stage, because when we're filming, they're not doing anything. They get on their phones, but then they're just reading comic books. It was quite the sight.
So what was the first comic book that you got into at that time? Like what kind of drew you? Like I know you said you read a whole bunch of stuff, but was there one comic book or one like publisher that you're like, yes, and just got sucked into it?
I really was amazed at a comic book called Fables.
Love Fables.
I was like, this is so bloody clever. And then of course, Jack, Why the Last Man, I thought was just like, it's so, like in comic books, anything is possible. My buddy Mark Verheiden started in comics, and he says the great thing about, he and I are collaborating on one actually, and he said the great thing about comics is there's no budget. You can crash the plane. Whereas in TV, the producer's going to go, well, there's $5 million we can get rid of. We don't crash the plane. We just show the aftermath.
Yeah.
In comics, you can actually crash a plane and you can do whatever you want. You can blow up the world. So that was really interesting for me. And then people taking, like Cullen Bunn's got this one now, Dark Arc, which I think is so clever. Like, oh, of course. Why didn't I think?
Yeah, duh. Like obviously there was a second arc. Like
it was a constant thing. Every time I get a stack of books, I'd go, geez, it's right there. Like, why didn't I think of that? So that was, I was always amazed and surprised and delighted whenever I got books. But throwing my mind back, 100 Bullets, like there were so many. It was a little overwhelming at times, but there's a few that were sort of like, holy crap, this is really cool. And they ran for so long too, which was which I quite liked.
Yeah. So, what was it for you that as soon as you started reading these books, like obviously coming into this a little bit later than a lot of us when it comes to comic books, like what was it that you're like, you know what? I want to write these. Like, I want to do this too.
Oh, that was not something that I ever thought I could do, would do. Like, it was just absolutely foreign to me. Much like when I was a kid, the actors were those people. They lived over there. Those are the people that did it. I never, ever contemplated that I would be an actor. And then, although my mom tells me when I was a little kid that I would say that I wanted to be an actor, but I always thought I wanted to be a lawyer. And then I realized I wanted to be a lawyer on TV, like Al Pacino in Justice for All, because you just stand in the courtroom and yell at people. But that's not really what lawyers do. Anyways, I digress. It really didn't become a thing for me until I met Joe, and we just started talking one night. And because I had an idea and he had the same exact idea, and he was obviously, many steps ahead of me. And then he said, well, what about something else? You think about writing comic books? I was like, no, I've written like scripts and stories and stuff, but never comic books. And so he's been instrumental in getting me going and helping me out, and teaching me storytelling through the comic book panel lens as opposed to script or novel or novella. So yeah, it's I hate to say this, it's because of Joe. And if my book sucks, right? It's because of Joe. Yeah. So it was never a thing. I'm kind of curious to see, I'm turning 50 in August, and I'm just waiting to see what the next thing I never thought I could do, and suddenly I'll be doing. Like, am I going to be at the 2026 Olympics doing something really amazing? I mean,
possibly, obviously. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. You guys,
yeah.
I mean, like, you
Gordon Rimmer goes to the Olympics. It sounds like a thing.
let's do it. So how specifically did you meet Joe? Because it's like, it had to have been like at a convention, right? Joe, you're not allowed to talk about this. I know he's on the call, but shh.
Yeah, it was, it was at a convention. It was like the typical Saturday night standing around the hotel lounge, and he just walked up and he said, hey, just nice to meet you. I'm one of the vendors here. I got a table and I work for AfterShock Comics. And I said, oh, that's cool. And then we just started talking. And then we started talking about this phenomenon, black-eyed kids, that I had been researching on my own. And I had this really cool, I thought, story about it and for it. And he's like, oh yeah, I already wrote that. It's coming out.
I did it.
Bastard. So yeah, and then it led to, let's pitch me other ideas. And then we started telling ghost stories. And that's really where it's solidified things.
And you have so many. Like, it's crazy. Like, yeah, the real stuff. Excuse me, as I choke on my old fashioned. Hold on. Because I was absolutely terrified when you're describing your latest title with us, Anna. I actually, for all those people that follow me on social media, I took a little candid screenshot of my face because I was just like absolutely terrified.
It's funny because we were on that big company Zoom call, right? There was like 15 people, but I could see people as I was going, oh, like, oh no, oh, I know what's coming, or what's
just like
happening?
Getting goosebumps.
Yeah, it was. It's fun to watch people kind of like. I told the story yesterday to my friend Dave, and it's like, "What's your comic book?" And I just told him, "Oh, it's about this story of my uncle." Yeah. And I told him the story, and he was like, "Dude, that's what? Holy shit! Wow! Oh man!" It's always fun. It's always fun. I hope people have the same reaction when they actually are able to read the book, because
yeah. Well, let's backtrack a little bit, because you've done actually some other stories with us before this comic book. You've done De-Evolution, which was in our Shock Volume 1 anthology. So this is a little different. This is not a ghost story. This is like a post-apocalyptic story of genetic manipulation to make the populace more controllable, and kind of generations after that, what happens. And like my first instinct, I was like, God, it's like a terrifying mix of Gattaca meets Idiocracy type of thing. Yeah. So where did that story come for you? Like, where did that kind of ruminate?
It was it was literally based on an article a friend of mine sent me, and we sat down and had a beer and talked about, and it's this thing called the intergenerational effect. When a child is conceived, if the mother is on drugs, pharmaceutical or illicit, if she has medical issues, if she's in a famine or whatever, it adversely affects the child, and it just passes that down. And so people will actually devolve in a sense. And I thought, oh, wow, that's really, really interesting. Like if a baby's born during a famine, all of its life, it'll have this propensity to stack on weight because the body doesn't know when it's going to eat again. Even though the child can eat 3 meals, 5 meals a day, it's built into the genetic code. So I thought, oh, this is really interesting. What if somebody tried to black ops that and get a virus going that devolves people to keep them more controlled, much like what they do now with misinformation and poor diet and poor healthcare and everything like that. But let's try and speed up the process, and then the virus goes out of control, and literally the population goes, these people go up, and these people go down, and then other people go down, down, down. And then what does the world look like after that when it all just literally goes to hell? So I've got a big, long, sort of like 3-part movie in my head about it. But to get it going, we just did sort of like the opening and the science and the Reader's Digest version in Shock Volume 1 as a short story.
Yeah, it's wonderful and creepy because I mean things are the most terrifying when it feels like it could happen, and that's like you said, what's already kind of happening with misinformation, with bad dietary for like underprivileged people, like when they can only get McDonald's, which is, as we know, is just full of chemicals and is absolutely terrible for you, like all that kind of stuff. So well done. It's absolutely creepy. So thank you for that one. But let's jump into your next story for the anthology Shock Volume 2. This one goes into some of your ghost stories.
Yep.
And, so this is called Drums, and it's based on a true story of a house that you lived in as a kid, and you moved a lot, but this one happened to be right in front of the largest cemetery in town. And I'll let you tell it because I legitimately reread it this morning and was like just covered in goosebumps because like, what? So go on.
Do you want me to tell the whole story?
I mean, I think that's fine.
Okay. So when I was a boy, my dad moved from Ontario. I live in Vancouver, and he had 3 brothers, 3 sisters. And every couple of years, the next brother would come out. So we always had uncles living with us. And there was one uncle, Uncle John, devout Catholic. They grew up Catholic, but he's the only one that sort of stayed in it. And weird things would happen to him, like weird things. We lived in this house, and there was a hallway all the way down the middle, and a living room on one side, and a kitchen there, and then my mom and dad's bedroom, then my and my brother's bedroom. We had bunk beds, and then there was like a mud room. And to get to the upstairs, you had to go through our room, and then the flight of stairs went up, and there was room off either side of the stairs. And on the left side was my Uncle John, and on the right side was an empty bedroom, but it had a drum kit in it. And at the other end of the hall, behind the living room and my mom and dad's room, was the cemetery, and hundreds of houses backed onto the cemetery. And we lived there for a little bit, and as we would go to bed, and in the middle of the night, the drums would play. And they'd actually play pretty well. And then in the morning, my uncle would come down for breakfast, and my mom would give him shit for playing the drums and waking up the kids. And he swore up and down that he did not play the drums, and he doesn't know how to play the drums. So for him to sound like, Gene Krupa was ridiculous. But it would continue on, and it would continue on. And then one night, and then nobody believed him. He just, you play the drums.
Yeah. Because it's an uncle, like also like in those times you're so used to uncles playing like tricks on like the kids.
Uncle
and
goof
getting,
off.
Yeah, exactly. Getting the mom riled up and exactly.
But that wasn't Uncle John. He was a pretty serious guy. And we, so one night we're sitting watching TV. We're watching, it was either Fantasy Island or Magnum PI. I can't remember which. And we were all there. And my mom was sitting on the couch, and she was holding my little brother. And I was sitting on the floor, and my dad was in the chair and on the couch, and my uncle was in a chair, and the drums started softly playing upstairs. And everybody just looked at each other and went, oh, geez, okay, Uncle John doesn't play the drums. And so
I can't hide my face being absolutely terrified. Continue.
So they went to commercial. It went to commercial. My mom put my brother down, and she got up and left the room. We thought we were just going to the bathroom, but end of the commercial break, she didn't come back. And then the next act of the show happened, and she didn't come back. But we didn't really pay attention to it at the time. And then suddenly the drum stopped, and mom walked in and sat down, picked up my brother, and we watched the show. Well, that night, we all went to bed. In the middle of the night, the drums started up, and they started up really loud and really banging. Bang, 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 bang. It was less sort of jazzy and more more Metallica. It was pretty heavy stuff. Anyways, I get up as a little boy and I go and I look up the stairs and looking up the top of the stairs and let me back up real quick. My uncle used to swear that he didn't play the drums. He said he went in, he opened the door one time really quickly. He heard the drums playing. He went across the little hallway there, opened the door, and the drumsticks were in midair, and then they just clattered to the floor.
No.
He closed the door and he never went back in the room. Anyway, so this night the drums are playing. I get up and I look up the stairs and the drums stop. And they just stop. And I look up the stairs and I'm expecting to see my uncle come out of the room, and it's not my uncle, but something came out of the room. This apparition came out of the room and turned and started floating down the stairs. I remember it like it was last night, and I could see through it, and I saw my uncle's head look down the stairs in this utter horror look on his face as this thing just kept floating towards me. I dove under the bed, and I saw the bottom of it come through the room, go out the door, and turn and go down the hallway. So I scurried out, and I went and I peeked around the door, looking down the hallway, and it passed my parents' open door, and I saw my mom's head turn and look, and it just went through the wall to the cemetery. Poof, just went through the wall. And there was just silence in the house. And my mom turned and looked at me, and just this dead blank. She goes, "Go back to bed, honey." And I said, "Who was that?" And she said, "That's the man that plays the drums. Go back to bed." And I turned and I went in. And then the drums didn't play again, but we moved shortly thereafter. So that's Shock Volume 2. That's one of the stories I told Joe, and he said, let's make that into a comic. And it's drawn by Cliff Richards, who is amazing.
Beautiful. Like, he did such a great job, especially the apparition, like how it looks is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
But so my first question is, did your mom ever talk about what happens, when you guys were still watching the show? Did she ever, did she go and see it and then was just like, I'm not telling the kids, like, I'm going to pull myself together and then come back down for the show? Like, did she ever say what happened?
No, it's unspoken. She went up there and she had a conversation with whatever was up there and just told whomever to knock it off. This is our house. This is our family. You got to knock it off.
God, leave it to a mom. It's just like starting with a ghost, like, no. I'm like, all right.
She goes full giant grizzly mama bear.
Yeah, no wonder they started playing harder, like Metallica stuff, like, I'm going to play the drums when I want.
Yeah, it was the last time I got to play the drums. So,
yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if the people that moved in after us ever experienced anything.
Right?
I don't know.
So anybody,
if you live in New Westminster and you lived in a house where the drums would play in the middle of the night or something would happen in that room, let me know.
Right? God, just
buy the book
crazy.
and figure it out. Yeah, it was weird. Uncle John. And the new one that's coming out, it's the same uncle.
It is. That was going to be my next question. So we have our newest title, and this is going to be a full OGN from you. So this is prestige format, 48-page, one shock, because we love our puns here at AfterShock. So this is 10 Years to Death. So this is kind of the Shawshank Redemption meets Sixth Sense. And it's inspired by yet another eerie, bone-chilling story about your real-life uncle, and it's the same uncle, which also blows my mind. So I wonder if, like, this uncle just kind of, like, attracts this type of thing. So I want to leave it to you. You are welcome to say as much or as little about this, but tell everybody about it, because it's absolutely terrifying.
This one is a story that I heard. My uncle worked at a prison, and he was pretty high up. And one night he got a phone call. He was living with us. Again, different house. This is a house after that previous one. And he just left one evening and came back in the middle of the night. And I heard commotion downstairs. So I just sat. I did, like, what the little kids do. You sit at the top of the stairs and they don't know that you're out of bed to say, hey, go back to bed. But you can hear and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's how I watched a lot of TV shows that I wasn't supposed to watch when I was a kid. Just watching them. Anyways, and
I had a reminder from our publisher Joe Pruett, like, just don't tell the whole story, but like hint towards it. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, he came home one night really, really rattled, and my uncle didn't really get rattled all that much. And my dad asked him what was going on, and he said, I can't tell you. And now I'm really intrigued. And my uncle finally relented and said, okay, I'll tell you, but you cannot tell anyone because this will never get out. What happened at the prison tonight will never get out. And so, of course, I'm writing a book about it. And so my dad said, I promise I won't say a word. And so my uncle told my dad what happened, and me ostensibly, but without knowledge. And it scared the living shit out of me. And it still creeps me out. And I wish I had just gone back to bed. But I'm glad that now that I'm, almost 50, I can kind of handle the story. It's really creepy. It's true. So my uncle was over at the house about 5 years ago, and I wanted to bring it up to him, but it had never been spoken of. And my dad had never spoken of it. So I thought I'd bring up the drums one as a test case. And I said, remember when the drums would play by themselves? And he just freaked out, like went super white. And my dad was like, I think I remember something like that. And my uncle's like, you were 6. How do you remember that? It's burned into my brain.
I mean, like, how do you not remember something as crazy as that? Yeah.
But that also sort of informed me that don't bring up the prison one, because that I'm not supposed to know it. And it's a story I tell people, and they get, if the drum one's weird, this one's more weird, because the drum one's involved a family. The other one involves prisoners and guards and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yeah. So again, like, don't want to give too much away, but so your uncle was a warden, or what did he do at the jail?
just under, like, deputy, down a little bit. Like, he was in charge of some guys. He was not in charge of the whole deal, but he was in charge of some guys. And something happened one night, and he got called by the guards that happened to be on and said, you got to get down here. We need to deal with this. And so he went down, and they ultimately dealt with it, but swore everyone to secrecy, to the point where one of the prisoners was taken away and put in an institution, a different kind of institution, where he could say whatever he wanted, but the doctors are going to go, okay, yeah, sure. Right. Mm-hmm. Here, drink this. Now go have a nap. It's a weird tale.
It's just incredible. So we do have one question from Brent. He asks, Aaron, are there any horror stories that still give you goosebumps to this day? So other than these two that we've mentioned, do you have any other ghost stories that to this day still give you like goosebumps?
Oh, in my real life?
Real life, or or other stories that you've heard in general?
I'm listening to this podcast right now called Dark Histories. This guy out of the UK, and he just dives into weird happenings around the world throughout time. So stuff from the 1800s and 1700s. There's some stuff that some of the things he covers are just like, holy cow, that is creepy. There's a wonderful book called The Man from the Train, about this serial killer from the late 1890s through the early 1900s. This person would go from coast to coast, up and down across America, just murdering entire families. And because police departments didn't speak to each other, there was no dot connecting. So this person got away with it for like years and years and years and murdered hundreds of people. And that's really creepy and weird. I have more like ghost stories from my life that are just like, that's so weird.
Can you tell us one more? Just one more.
Sure. This is my best friend growing up. This is a story about a house he lived in, and his dad wakes up. This is 1981-ish. His dad wakes up, 3 o'clock in the morning, bang, 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 bang on the door. And he looks at the clock, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, what? So he gets up and he opens the door, and there's this guy all crumpled up in this suit. He's bleeding profusely. He's got his chest all caved in. He's all crumpled. He's like, oh my God, are you okay? I need help. I've been in a car accident. So he takes him inside. He puts him in a chair right by the door. You put a chair there, you put your shoes on. That's where he sticks the guy. He leaves the door open. He goes, I'll go call. So he goes into the kitchen. They got one of those phones on the wall. Like, the operator, hi, yeah, there's been a car accident. This is where I live. Can you describe the guy? And he leans, and the guy's gone. Yeah, he was just here. So, okay, well, we're sending police and whatever. Hangs up the phone, puts on his shoes, walks down the big long driveway, which connects to a road, which goes down to a 2-lane highway, but it's small town, super snaky. Gets down to the bottom of the road where it connects to the highway. And there's flares and there's cops and the cars are backed up. And it's like, wow, you guys got here fast. And the police officer says, hey, hang on, sir. We got this. Just stay back. He goes, no, I'm the one that called it in. The guy was just at my house. What guy? The guy that was in the accident. Oh, and then the cop goes, oh, hang on. Hey, there was 2 people in the car. 2 people. Look for the other guy. It's like, well, where is he now? I don't know. He knocked on my door. I called you guys. I called the operator, and then I looked, and he was gone. And the officer's like, huh? What was he wearing? It's like, he's got like a blue suit, and the officer goes, come with me. And so they start walking towards the car, and they're walking. He's like, okay, describe him. He's like a male. He's really bloody. His chest was all like this, and he sounded like he was just like he's not doing well. Anyway, you can describe him like, what did he look like? And he looks at the car, stops in his tracks, and goes like him. The guy's in the car, seatbelt still on, steering wheel jammed into his chest. He's bent over, and he was killed on impact, dead. And the cops had been there for half an hour before he phoned.
That's that. Yeah, the camera can't pick it up, but I'm like covered in goosebumps. That's terrifying. That's crazy.
Weird stuff happens.
So is it Canada? Like, what is it that causes all these ghost stories? My goodness.
Canada. My buddy, that guy's son, my best friend, Jason and Travis, they slept in a bedroom, had beds on either side, and one of them would wake up in the middle of the night and look over, and this bed would be doing this. And then another night, this guy would wake up, and this bed would be doing this. And Travis would wake up and see Jason floating 3 feet off his bed, his sheets just hanging down, and sound asleep, just floating in the air. And then he slammed back down. Apparently some guy hung himself in that room back a few years ago. So they moved.
Yeah, that's what
moving. We move a lot.
Just get away from all that. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in New England. I grew up in Vermont, so not too far from Canada. But I thought we had a lot of stuff. But goodness, I guess the farther north you go, the crazier ghost stories you get.
You really want to get creeped out. If you're ever in Vancouver, go to the Riverview Hospital. It's mostly closed now. You're not really supposed to go there, but we film a ton of stuff there. My friend Michelle, it's one of her favorite places, and she plays Spot Riverview in all the different TV shows. It's really fun. So I took her, and we took pictures of everything. And there are creepy places there. It was an old mental hospital for really, really difficult people for a long time, and a lot of people died in really, really awful circumstances. And there are buildings that are just shut that you're not allowed to go in. Like nobody can go in there because it's just so haunted. It's weird. We film there, and something always happens. I was filming Dirk Gently, and the building that I was in, I didn't know this till last night. My buddy Dave told me. He said it's an old bowling alley that hadn't been used since 1962. And it is creepy as all get out. And you're only allowed to go in the lobby. You're not allowed to go into the bowling alley part because it's haunted. And I have this scene in Dirk Gently where my car is parked outside, and I come out the door, and I'm on the phone, and I get in my car and I drive away. The camera and the crew and everybody are like 150 feet way back in the distance. And they put a PA in there beside me so they could yell action. And this is the middle of the night. And they'd yell action. They'd say action over the walkie-talkie, and the PA would go action. And then I'd go out the door and I'd walk away. So take one, I go out, they yell cut, the door flies open, the PA comes flying out, running, sprinting, runs past everybody. And they're like, hey, where are you going? And he's like, nope, I quit. And we're just like, what the hell is that? So they said, okay, well, let's get another PA. So the cue Aaron. And I said, no, it's good. You guys just yell. Buddy left the radio in there anyways. I check it. Yeah, the radio works. Okay. Now just say it across the radio or yell action. Well, man, I'm standing in there. I'm waiting. And it's dark inside. And the wall over here has water leaking in it because these buildings are really old and decrepit. And I'm waiting for them to yell action. And there's nothing happening. I look at the radio. It's like nothing. And then I sense something.
Nope.
And as I turn, there's this black mist coming from the back, and it's crawling along the wall. And I hear this for like 8 to 10 seconds. This, and I'm looking and I'm watching this mist, and I'm like, you guys better say action right now. And I grabbed the walkie, and the walkie was dead, battery drained like that, brand new battery. And then they're yelling outside. They're going, action, Aaron. I open the door, I do the scene, and they yell, cut. Okay, we're going again because you missed your cue. I said, the radio died. There's something in there. And they said, we're going again. I said, no, you're not. I'm leaving right now. We're not going back in there. And we didn't do another take. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, I'm not really bothered by these things. But that's why that PA sprinted out of there and never came back to the show, just ran. And
like from the show, like literally just left set and was like,
quit on the set, quit on the scene and ran. Yep.
So we're getting questions. What season was that?
Of Dirk Gently?
Yeah.
I'm only in season 1.
Okay, so season one
episode. Gosh, I don't even know. Michelle.
Yeah. Michelle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, like everybody in comments are just like absolutely shocked of like what the shit. Like that's crazy.
I'll give you one more review real quick.
Yes, do it.
Michael Adam Thwaite, who many of you will know, great voiceover actor, great actor. He was in Dirk Gently with me. He was one of the men of the machine. We would sit around in the green room telling stories about Riverview, and Elijah Wood and Sam Barnett would just be sitting there going, what? Because every crew member's had an experience. Everybody who's ever shot there has had an experience. And Michael tells this story. You go down into the tunnels, which is down into the tunnels. And it's a place that nobody wants to go. But he was doing a show, and they went down there to rehearse. And so he said, so I'm down in the tunnels. And we rehearsed the scene, and they get halfway through the scene, and my character has walked away. So I just step back, and I get on my phone, and I'm doing this. And then I look up, and they're all gone. They've finished the scene, and he's like sort of blanked out, didn't pay attention. Mm-hmm. And he said, huh. And he started to move, and he felt this hand, full hand, on his shoulder like this, but from the back, full hand, just like this. And he went, I said, well, what'd you do? He said, I didn't turn around. I ran. I know there was nobody behind me because I was the only one there. The rest of them had walked up the stairs. The director, the first AD, and the actors had walked up the stairs. And so he just ran, and he ran up the stairs. He said, don't ever, no. It's crazy. Yeah. There are a lot of places in Vancouver where we film, and there's a lot of things. Like there's one place out in the valley, you can't even turn the radios on, because there's this little girl that screams across the radios, just screams. It was an old, I don't think it was a residential school, but it was an old bad place for little kids. Yeah. And this little girl just screams across the radio. Doesn't matter what channel you turn it to. Tick, 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 tick. It just screams across the radio. So they can't use the radios. They just have to yell at each other. Yeah. Yeah. I told Zach Bagans, you got to come up and do Ghost Adventures across BC. And he said, we really want to, but Riverview doesn't want the publicity that they're super haunted and all the bad things that happen there.
But they would get so much tourists up there. Like, do they realize how many people would get there?
Yeah, but then does anybody want to go filming there? That's the thing. Because they make so much money, people filming, because people are always filming there.
That makes sense.
They don't want that, so they charge so much. So companies like Discovery Channel just go, I'm not paying that. So no, you can't go. It's too bad too, because Zach would kill it. He'd make an amazing show about some of the places up here. Yeah, and then he could have a bunch of actors on to talk about their experiences.
Right? That's like my mind is blown. Also, like Rachel, our community manager, she's literally sending me on the channel that she's supposed to send me like questions from the audience. She's just like, WTF, 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 with the kids screaming thing. Terrifying. All right. Well, I could talk to you for hours about all these, but I'm just so stoked to have you on here. Thank you so much. We want to start doing the live sale. Are you cool with like staying with us and actually chatting with your bestie of Joe Pruett to sell some comic books, some of which that you wrote?
Sure.
All right. Cool deal. Well, everybody, we're going to take a very, very short break so we can bring the incredible Joe Pruett on, but be right back, and we're going to start the live sale. So see you guys in a second. Oh, hey everyone, it's Rue from the AfterShock Epicenter live stream. If you missed our past episode, make sure you head to your comic book shop this weekend and pick up the latest issues of Seven Swords #2, Girls of Dimension 13 #4, Phantom on the Scan #4, and the final issue of Shadow Doctor, which is #5. So get those at your local comic book shop and then come back here on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. and we'll talk about the latest comic books that are coming out for New Comic Book Day. We'll see you then. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the AfterShock Happy Hour. And now it's time for the live sale portion. We have the incredible Joe Pruett and Aaron Douglas to talk about all of these amazing exclusive titles that we're going to sell for a fraction of the cost right here, right now. So let's do this. We're going to do pre-orders for your 10 Years to Death. You are actually going to sign 1,000 copies. So we're hopefully don't break your wrist doing that. And we're going to sell them here for only $20. Now, Joe, you have some prerequisites for this, right?
This is a pre-sale. So basically you won't order, you pay for it today. You won't get it until it comes out, which is, I'll be honest, it's a 2-month wait. So this is going to be a signed edition. It will be available through Diamond. It will be available in your local comic shop, but there's only going to be 1,000 limited copies made and signed for by Aaron here. So if you order one today, you will be guaranteed a copy. It won't go anywhere else first. You get your copies first.
So this is the best safe bet to be able to get your signed copy of this incredible one-shot from Aaron Douglas of this ridiculous, creepy story. Like, we didn't want to go into too much detail on it because so yeah, if anybody follows me on social media, you actually get my candid face of my reaction of when he was first describing it to us. So we're really stoked. Aaron, Did you want to add anything else about this?
No, I'm looking forward to people reading it here, and then I don't know. I'm sure I'll get asked about it if we ever do cons again. I don't know.
Yeah, we're doing cons again,
Yeah,
and it will be It will be published in this oversized, format that we've been popularizing recently with Eden and with Piecemeal, and then with next month's God of Trimmers from Peter Milliken. So We'll be in this 48-page book.
Isn't there something special about the cover too?
There's a variant cover, right?
It's a variant cover, by Michael Gaidos. For the signed edition only. So again, the cover will be just for this one signed edition with Aaron's signature on the cover itself. 1,000 copies limited.
Yeah.
Both covers are awesome, but the only one that's going to be signed is the variant. Is that what you're telling?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So this is the way to get up on it and be able to get it before anybody else does. So like we said, this is going to go through Diamond through your local retailers, but if you want to be able to tag one just for you, this is the time to do it. And again, obviously we've only have 1,000 of these that are ever going to be printed and signed by Aaron. So make sure you jump on it.
Yeah, before they're gone, before they come out.
Before they gone. All right. So next up is both Shock Volume 1 and Volume 2. They're usually $35 each. Now they're going to be $25 each, or both for only $40.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's
cool.
So
this is Volume 1, John Cassidy cover. Volume 2, Tim Bradstreet. And these are Aaron's first 2 comic book stories he's ever written.
And the first one that I did was drawn by Simon Kudransky out of Poland.
Yep.
And the second one is Cliff Richards, who also drew 10 Years to Death.
That's phenomenal.
And I am so happy because those guys are just terrific.
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier, for Volume 1, that's the de-evolution story that Aaron did, and then for Volume 2 is the true story of the drums ghost.
Right, and these are 160-page hardcover in the oversized European format.
Yeah, again, they're usually $35 each, so you could basically get both for only $5 more. So it's a
What
crazy
a
deal.
bargain.
Am I right? It's
That's
like we're
right.
crazy.
But
Next
there's also
up,
some, sorry, let me just,
no,
one
go
more thing
ahead.
on that.
Yeah.
Just list off some of the other,
Sure.
like, it's not by noobs like me.
Oh, this is
like, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here.
Yeah, this volume 1, for instance, good idea. Mike Carey, Brian Azzarello, Neil Gaiman, Mark Guggenheim, Colin Bond, Bill Willingham from Fables fame, Jim Starlin, Phil Hester, Michael Gaydos, Charles Vess, Paul Jenkins.
He's all right.
Just to name just a handful of the top creative talent we have on this Marguerite Bennett. And then volume 2 with the Tim Bradstreet cover. It has R.L. Stine, Goosebumps fame, an original short story, Garth Ennis, Jim Starlin again, Larry Stroman, Marguerite, Aaron Douglas, Juan Doe, Colin Bonnet, Francesca Francavilla, Jill Thompson, Bob Burden with the original Flaming Carrot short story, first short story in about 15 years, I believe. Ray Fox, Simon Kordansky, myself, of course, I have been both volumes, and I'm also the editor. Frank Thierry, and Kevin J. Anderson, a novelist and short story writer, Ron Mars, Sam Keith, just to name a handful.
Yeah, just to name a few. Like, speaking of Goosebumps, Aaron, you're on Are You Afraid of the Dark, the newest series. I feel like your story should be on that show. Did you give them any of your stories, or?
No, we didn't really talk about that. The one of the producers is a big Battlestar fan, and so it was that, like, I auditioned for some minor character, and he said, no, hang on, we gotta have get a big role. Aaron will do the show. Yeah, of course I'll do any. Come on, people, just ask.
Yeah.
And so they wrote me this really cool Charlie Murphy, the Lighthouse Keeper, which was it was a really interesting show. It was my first show after COVID, or during COVID, coming back from being off for COVID. So, like, all the prep masks and everything like that. It was a weird experience, but very cool one. Everybody was lovely, and the story's kind of fun, and the sets were amazing. Yeah, it was really neat.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing that as well. So next up for our live sale is Nuclear Family #1. This is a 9.8 CBCS graded. So usually we sell this for $50. It's now only $35. So for those who don't know this storyline, it's huge, very popular title from Stephanie Phillips, but it's about a family in the 1950s who wakes up. There's the nuclear fire in the 50s. So basically the Cold War turned very hot, and for them it was an instant, but in reality actually turned into 10 years, and they are captured by the US government of what's left and are thought to be spies, and now they have to find a way to get back to their original timeline, or just back home in some way. So it's a great story.
Yeah, it's based on a Philip K. Dick short story. I can't remember the exact name of the short story. Twilight, something about Twilight. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared.
Yes, we're always so prepared for these shows.
You get what you get.
But it's been highly popular, so we highly suggest picking up this graded comic book. Again, it's usually $50. We're only selling it for $35 today.
Limit 10.
Yeah, we don't have many left. Speaking of having very, very few, of the actual issues left, we still have a few left of Bunny Mask #1 Ambassador and exclusive variant. So as everybody knows who's watching this, Bunny Mask blew up. It's been crazy. Aaron, did you have a chance to pick up this title?
I haven't gotten to it yet, but I am very well aware of it because it is all over Twitter. And I mean, that is like that. I mean, it's Louise Belcher, but as a demon, is basically what I'm kind of taking away from it. Yeah.
Once you read it, it's in this first issue, like page 1, page 2, there's a father who is chiseling out his child's teeth with her permission. Like, it's just horrifying. Why not? What?
It saves the dentist trips, right?
Exactly. Just take them all out.
The Francesca Francavilla cover for the Ambassador program. You can only buy this through an Ambassador store, and they only get 2 copies per store. So this is very rare.
Yeah, we only
item
have
here.
5 available, and if you've checked on eBay, some of these are selling for like $350 a piece. So we are selling it at a very, very low price of only
Yeah.
$15. Usually it's 20.
I think I can do 10 of these, FYI.
Okay.
So I can do
9.
10 of
You're
these.
sending one to me.
Okay, I get one for you, Aaron. And FYI, Bunny Mask #1 is our all-time best-selling title.
Is it official now?
It's officially it passed, but Baby Teeth #1 last week, so it's now the highest-selling book we've ever published.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations to everybody that worked on that.
Yes, thank you. That's huge news. That's very exciting. So even more reasons to pick this up ASAP right here, right now, for a very low price of $15. And last but not least, we have Out of the Blue, the complete series. And we're selling it with a signed bookplate from Garth Ennis.
Signed by Garth Ennis. This is also
Ooh.
limited to only 10 copies. It is
9.
an out of print title. So there's no copies left at Diamond. There's no, unless you can find one in the bookstore on eBay somewhere. This is the only edition. The only 10 copies I have left in the warehouse. And I do have a book plate signed by Garth for every single copy we sell today.
That's cool.
So this normally
Cool.
this retails for 30. I have to keep it at 30, but I will give the signed book plate in with it to make it more of a bargain for you guys.
I just want to address one comment and just correct it really quick. An Englishman in San Diego said, Joe, living legend. But really, as we all know from this show, he is actually the Madonna of comic books.
Okay, that's the last time you get away with that.
Come on, you're the one who said it. You're the one who said it
I
on this
instantly regretted
show.
it. It's because Aaron, just give it background. It's like I one time said I always reinvent myself. I've been an assistant, I've been an artist, I've been a letterer, I've been a writer, an editor, creative director, a book designer. So I'm always reinventing myself in the Madonna comics. And RuthAnn thinks that's the funniest thing I've ever said, and I hear about it every show.
Just
We have to.
don't do your terrible English accent. Just
No, I
whatever.
don't.
Just don't do
And
that.
Englishman in San Diego, thanks for being here. I enjoyed meeting up with you when I was in London, in Birmingham, a couple of years ago.
It's Birmingham.
I'm sorry. I say it the Southern American way.
Yeah, Birmingham. I have I just have one quick thing.
Yeah.
Was it Mitch that asked what episode the Animal Transfer Station
Yes.
Bentley thing? Mitch. Okay, so the incomparable Michelle just texted me. She's in Melbourne, Australia, up at whatever o'clock in the morning it is there. He gets in the car with Lydia Spring. She licks his hand as the dog. It's episode 3, Rogue Wall Enthusiasts. So there you go, episode 3, Rogue Wall Enthusiasts. When I come out, I have just come out that door from the not fibbing at all.
I
Horrifying.
hate it. That's like nope. So many flavors of nope. Like
Yeah.
I want.
I just
So,
want
yeah,
to
we look-
interject real quick that noise Aaron made is going to be my new ringtone starting this week.
When I have my big microphone set up when I'm recording some audio, something I'll do a full thing and then I'll send it to you.
Perfect.
Excellent,
All
thanks.
right.
I love it. All right. Well, we have a little bit of time, so let's go back from the top. Joe Pruett, aka I'll call you Vanna White for this. I won't continue because you're my boss and I'm not allowed to tease you too much.
No, it's Madonna.
You can say it, Aaron. Say it
yeah.
as much as possible. Tweet it.
will.
Do it. So we have the pre-orders for 10 Years to Death for $20, signed by the incomparable Aaron Douglas. And again, so who did the variant cover?
It's Michael Gatos.
Michael Gatos.
Co-creative Jessica Jones, in case you guys know
for
that.
those that don't know.
Right, exactly. So it's 1,000 limited. I'm not saying we're going to sell 1,000 right here today, but there's only 1,000 being signed and made for Aaron to sign. And so it will be available in your local comic shops who order it. But if you want to get a pre-order and guarantee you're going to get a copy, you can order it today. It will not be shipped for 2 months. So
when's the cutoff? Like if you're watching this thing, but what if you're watching this thing tonight on the
We have
replay?
24 hours
24 hours from
right now.
from 3 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday.
Now you have 23 hours and 9 minutes and 36 seconds.
Oh yeah, technically
Okay.
from when we
Keep that running
started. You are
till
correct.
Yeah.
And we have Shock Volume 1 and 2 anthologies that have both have incredible stories from Aaron as well as
And me.
many other people, and
Yeah,
and Joe.
And I'll sign them if anybody wants me to sign them for you as well. Aaron, sorry, you're in Vancouver. I can't get you to sign them today.
No. So those are usually $35 each, but we're going to sell them for only $25 each, or the low price of $40 together. So if you
Both.
get both,
Wow.
it's only $5 more than you would have gotten just one. So
What a bargain.
What
And
a bargain.
if you pick them up and you ever find me and you have your books with me, I'm happy to sign them. Happy to. Yeah, coming out of con. No, there's not a charge for that kind of stuff. Just bring me a book.
And I'm guessing
got something in and I'll sign it. For sure.
I might see Aaron at a con in the fall. Just saying that.
Yeah.
You know, so
we'll touch on that at the end.
Guess and think about what all you want, but I'm hiding in Canada, buddy.
I love it. Next up for the sale is Nuclear Family #1, graded 9.8. Beautiful cover there. Terrifying cover. So it's usually 50. Now we're just going to do it for 35. Again, for 23 point whatever hours left of this day since we first started airing this happy hour.
And the first 10 people get it.
Yes, only 10 available. Also, even more limited is the Bunny Mask #1 Ambassador exclusive variant, usually 20. So we're only going to sell it for 15 here and now, and it's been selling like crazy amounts on eBay. We have a limit of 5, or technically 10, 9, since we're going to send one to Aaron. So there's very, very few of these left available. We only do these at very, very like limited print runs. We only send 2 per our ambassador shop. So like this is very hard to come by. So this is a great deal, and absolutely pick this up as soon as possible. Last but not least is Out of the Blue Complete Series by Garth Ennis, with a signed bookplate from Garth Ennis for only $30 each. How many of those do we have?
10. I only have 10. One copy. I have 11 here. One's mine.
So 9, since one is Aaron's.
So here we go. This is the collection that collected volumes 1 and 2 of the French European style format hardcover we put out last year, year before. So,
God, literally the last 2 years have just been one. Like
so, signed by Garth. I swear this is Garth's actual signature, as if you can read it, but it's the truth. He drinks a lot of Guinness when he writes his signature.
It's either his signature or a prescription for penicillin.
That's right.
I'm not sure which one it is.
Potato.
Dr. Nick. Yeah.
Well, Aaron Douglas, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Where can people follow you on social media, and where can people find you next, whether it's TV show, convention? What do you got coming up?
What is my next TV show? I just did a Christmas movie called A Clusterfunk Christmas. It is like sorry, I'm being distracted by something. It's like a Hallmark Christmas movie, but it's the women from Saturday Night Live who have written a spoof about a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Awesome.
And it is, it was 104 degrees and we're dressed like it's December 26th in Wisconsin. So that was gross. But it's going to be hysterical. They were absolutely lovely people. They got a great cast, and I got to play a character that I don't usually get to play, so I quite enjoyed that. And it will be out this Christmas, for the Peacock people. But I don't know what it's going to air on. But
it'll be Peacock, I guess.
Something like that. Twitter, the best thing to keep is me. I am at the Aaron Douglas, and or at 80_fans is the fan stuff run by my good friend Michelle, and AaronDouglasFans.com. She has an amazing site there, and then there's Facebook and Instagram. She does way too much for me because she's fabulous. And
the Instagram, the Aaron Douglas, is that you or is that a fan account?
It's me. I just never
am on
it. I haven't jumped. I need to figure out Instagram. I'm basically a 70-year-old man that is just like baffled by technology.
Well, I have tagged you in all the things on there, as well as Aftershock Comics, I'm sure. So whenever you do join back up to Instagram, you're going to see a lot of notifications from us. Sorry about that. But we look forward to the next time you come on the show to tell us more ghost stories, because now I'm like, is there going to be ghost stories from this Christmas movie?
What we should do is I should just tell like 5 ghost stories, and then everybody viewing gets to vote on which one becomes the next comic.
There we go.
I like it. Done. So now you've heard it
2
here
down.
first, folks. Yeah.
I got so many more. So many more.
I'm so curious. Well, Aaron, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Thank you so much. So everybody, you can pick up the Shock 1, Shock 2 here right now in your local comic book shops. Looking for my notes of when you can grab
It's the last week of September. It's when
it comes. Oh, that's right. It's the final order cutoff is September 9th. So make sure you let your local comic book shop know if you want to be able to get this one shock of 10 Years to Death from Aaron Douglas before then, and then it'll be in shops on September 29th. So, very exciting stuff. So, Aaron, thank you so much. Joe Pruett, as always, a pleasure. And we will see you all back here on August 12th with both the Steves, both Steve Orlando and Steve Fox, to talk about their next 2 titles with us. So we're super stoked about that. But everybody, thank you again for joining. Be safe out there. Wear your mask, wash your hands, only read dangerously. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Hey again, this is Rue from the Aftershock Epicenter live stream. I just want to remind you to join us this coming Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, because we have some amazing titles to talk to you about. We have our first title from our brand new YA imprint, Seismic Press, called Rainbow Bridge. I cannot wait for you guys to read it, as well as Out of Body number 3. So make sure you join us on whatever you watch your videos on, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, and we'll be live at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern to talk about all these amazing books and more. So I will see you guys then. Bye.